Hey, what's going on guys, and welcome to the video. Now the vehicle behind me today is an incredibly dirty 2008 Ford Escape. And as you guys just saw, this thing is absolutely filthy on the inside and in need of some serious deep cleaning. Alright, so before we take a better look at the inside, I'll show you around the outside real quick. And as you can see, it looks fairly grungy and dirty all around. That's probably fair to say. It doesn't get washed very often, besides maybe being rained on. And then I also notice it's still rocking winter tires in the middle of summer, but perhaps that's all explained by the state of the interior, as this is definitely one of the dirtier vehicles I've had in, as literally every surface in here is covered in something gross, especially the seats. Even the steering wheel has a thick layer of crud on it, so knowing how dirty it is, I know there's going to be even more surprises when I get the seats out. But just before we jump into the detail, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I post a new video like this every week, so if you've got the bell on, you'll never miss out on one. All right, well, after seeing what I'm up against today, you know the transformation on this one is going to be epic. So as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Okay guys, so getting started on the pre-wash rinse, and I figured I would do something a little different in this video and take the opportunity to answer a bunch of questions that I've seen people ask recently, with the first of those being, how do I price my details? Now this is a question I probably get asked a few hundred times a week, and the answer is available on my website at detailgeekautocare. I do have sort of a base model pricing for my details, obviously depending on what I'm doing, but also have a provision for additional charges if the vehicle is excessively dirty. So if you're curious, the link is at the top of the description. Now I figured I'd give you a little background on the vehicle as we get into this detail. And so the owner was telling me when she dropped it off that she actually bought this vehicle quite a few years ago with all the stains in the seats and ended up getting seat covers for it to cover them up. And as you'll see later on, I'm guessing it was previously owned by a smoker, despite not smelling like it. But by the time I give the vehicle back today, there won't be any need for those seat covers anymore. And if you're wondering, it has over 400,000 kilometers on it, or about 250,000 miles, so it's been driven a ton. Now the next question I figured I would answer is one I've seen pop up a bit more frequently lately, and that's, why do I always start my details with the exterior first? And to be honest, there's quite a few reasons, and probably too many to list them all, but the main one is that since door jambs usually need to be sprayed out, it wouldn't make much sense to me if I was doing this with a clean interior. Even though I'm super careful, there's always a chance that dirty water will spray into the vehicle, though that isn't much of an issue if it's still dirty. Basically, process-wise, it makes the most sense and is the most efficient and safest working outside in, at least from my perspective anyways. But that being said, working inside out certainly isn't wrong either. Now another question I get from time to time is, who exactly is Mike? And really, that's a great question. I sometimes wonder that myself, but to sum it up, he's a lazy couch potato who sometimes comes up to help me drive vehicles, occasionally video bombs me inside the garage, and loves to be goofy and dance while he does it. Now with the one rubber mat cleaned and the carpet ones vacuumed, I'll get some carpet solution sprayed on and then use the drill brush to agitate and loosen up all the dirt. And with the pressure washer being the easiest and most effective way of getting these clean, I will always use it on the dirtier mats. And I know I've seen a lot of people ask if I extract the mats after or just hang them to dry. And the answer is yes, I do extract them. It usually takes 2 quick passes to get all the water out, and then by the time I'm done the detail, they're perfectly dry. Alright, starting on the interior now, and the first thing to do is get the seats and console removed and toss all the garbage that was hiding underneath. And one issue I actually ran into with this vehicle was with the driver's seat, as the power seat didn't work, so it was stuck in one spot. Now usually to remove seats you need to move them all the way up and back to get at the bolts, but luckily I was able to get a wrench on the back bolts and get it removed. Though I was definitely worried for a minute because this is the type of vehicle they absolutely had to be removed for to do a good job. Now, as you can imagine, with the seats out of the vehicle, it makes it a lot easier to see what I'm doing and gives me easier access to the entire seat so I don't miss anything on the console side. And then with everything vacuumed, I can get started on these dirty seats. And a question I see lots is what I use to spray down my carpet solution, as it's one of the few things I don't have linked in the description. And it's just a basic pump sprayer you can get at any hardware store. And it works really well since I dilute my carpet solution about 20:1. I just fill it up with water, add the solution, and I'm good to go. All right, moving to the nasty passenger seat here, and I'm definitely using a little extra solution since this seat is so heavily stained. And with a seat like this, agitation is key. So I'm going over it really well with the drill brush. And as I make the first few passes here with the extractor, it's pulling some pretty nasty colors out. Now, even after making several passes, it wasn't quite clean yet, so I'll spray on some more solution and switched over to the yellow drill brush to make sure I can get everything loosened up. But you definitely have to be careful as it's a stiffer brush, and used too aggressively, it could easily damage cloth seats. Now, hard to believe, but after a few minutes of work, the seat looks brand new again. All right, moving to the carpets now, and for anyone wondering why I always start with the carpet inside the vehicle instead of working top down, it's because solution tends to fling all over the place when agitated, and if trimmer pedals were already clean, I would just have to repeat work. And if you're curious as to which extractor I'm using that is working magic on this vehicle today, it's a Bissell Spot Clean Professional, and is a tool I would highly recommend, as it truly can't be beat for the price and is capable of transforming even the dirtiest of interiors. So if you're in the market for one, the link is in the description for you. Now, another question I see over on Instagram a lot is, how do I go about starting up a detailing business? And this is actually something I made an entire video on over on the second channel, the Detail Geek 2. So if you aren't already subscribed over there, make sure you do, because between videos like that and all the other compilations and Clean With Me episodes, there's guaranteed to be something over there for everyone, including a Clean With Me episode of this escape coming soon. Now with the carpets clean, here's a quick before and after, and boom, it looks brand new again. And then for the moment you've all been waiting for, here's all the nasty and dirty water pulled from this escape. Gross. Now, after making quick work of all the crud on the shifter, I'll move to the steering wheel, and using the brush attachment, it's going to easily remove that gross brown layer of grime, but with the leather coating being completely worn through in lots of spots, I had to be careful to not make that any worse and just remove the grime. And if you're wondering what steamer I'm using here, it's a McCulloch MC1375. And as you can see, it will make quick work of any sort of crud. So if you're interested, the link is down in the description for you, along with nearly every other product and tool that I use. Now as I clean the dirty pedals here, I thought I would mention that for anyone wondering what my own personal vehicle is or how I go about detailing it, I posted a video of it on the second channel a few months ago now, so make sure you check it out if you haven't already. You can click the card or the link to it will be at the top of the description for you. Moving back outside, and since the clear coat on this vehicle was in really rough shape, I'm using some of this Adams ceramic spray, as I didn't want to be running my polisher over all the spots where the clear coat was failing, potentially making it worse. But having used this stuff a few times before, it's the perfect choice here, as I can simply apply it with a towel, wait a couple minutes for it to flash, and then gently buff it off, and it's going to leave this paint with a hydrophobic protective layer that's nice and glossy. Now, just before this detail is wrapped up, I wanted to mention one more thing, and that's regarding the customer reactions. I know a lot of you love to see them, but unfortunately they do have to consent to being filmed, and not everyone is comfortable with that. So while I'm not always able to get those for you guys, just know that I do ask, and I'll get them as often as I can. right guys, and 10 hours later, I am exhausted, but the Escape is looking better than ever. Definitely happy with how that turned out. Now, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel for more epic transformations like this. Enjoy the guitar outro, and I'll see you guys in the next one.